What's going on, people? Hey. Welcome in, everybody. We'll get started here in a second. All right. Where is the button? I want a button. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you guys. Welcome in. I just am doing a little window management as I figure out what it is I'm going to be doing here, and we'll get started. All right, let's see. So we got to go here. Go ahead and get this guy going. All right. Flashbang, what's going on? All right, here we go. I don't know if I've forked this before. Fork already exists. Okay, so what, I just go to my own place here, my repositories. Oh, that's right, because I was the one that contributed how to use lazy and optimize the lazy configuration. So what we will do is we will sync the fork. I know it's out of date. There we go, master. Now I think the easiest way to start, let's go ahead and kill all this, bring it up. Tmux plugins. All right, so what I'll probably do is tmux swap out his for mine. Oh. And TPM. Man, it's been forever since I've run anything on TPM. So right, we've got clean, install, update. So install. And if I rmrf vim-tmux-navigator, that should be the starting point. And then config tmux plugins. There we go. So that's sort of step one, is just getting my version of this installed. And then from what I remember, the lazy plugin is the same path. So we do the same thing here. We go to our neovim config, we go to tmux-navigator, and we use my fork. Now, what I'm curious about is installed vim-tmux-navigator. Sweet. So it's really that simple. What we'll do for now is spend some time with the source code and get a sense of what features we want to integrate. I got some caffeine here. Pepsi, sponsor me. So, thanks for hanging out. Rutesh, I don't know if you've hung out here before, but man, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Andres, always good to see you. What we're going to do today is we're going to add this vim-tmux-navigate. Basically, the brief summary of all of this, if I was to explain it briefly, let's open it up as a project. So I actually need to get rid of this OBS. How do I do this? We got a global key binding that's conflicting. Let's go ahead and erase that. Okay. So lazy plugins, vim-tmux-navigator. So Control W? No, Control X. I have to figure out what I want it to be, but I want to basically close window. I want like a close command. And what it's going to do is I'm going to bind it to Command W, and basically when I want to close the buffer, I'm going to hit Command W, it closes the buffer. And when I'm in a vim-tmux pane, I want to hit the same button and I want it to close. So I sort of want to combine this idea of Command W closes, because it's the most common thing I do is open buffers and close buffers. And I believe it was my friend Ian on the Discord server that was talking about he uses Command B. So I could get by with doing this somehow with an alternative binding, but Command W, for those that are Mac users, that's how we close things. That's the standard. So I really like this idea of extending this feature. And so let's ask ChatGPT something. Let's say, you tried this, Ritesh? Something like this? Cool, man. Well, let's see how far I get. All right, so basically, Control Q. Interesting. I think that might work for now. Control Q. And so we'll have it close a pane or we'll have it close a buffer depending on if Vim is active. And so my understanding of how this guy works and we need to make sure that we understand the code. Is that we want to map our command to the Vim command. So this is a Vim thing. This isn't a NeoVim thing. So we would map, this to close. All right, this is our new guy. Is that right? Close, close. And for the sake of now, I can just add this here, close. close. I'm going to end up mapping it to Command W, but as you know, Control W is locked into window commands on Vim, so we don't want to create a, what is it? This is all Darwin-based key mappings, right? Darwin being Mac OS command key, syntax. And so really I'm going to map all this to when I hit Command W, then call Control Q, right? Or something like that. So it should come together pretty quickly if it works, right? If it does what we think it's going to do. And so we have to best understand tmux aware, when zoomed, when no wrap. And the zoomed thing is interesting because I think that there's an opportunity to mess with like closing a window split inside of Vim, but I think that comes later. What's up, Garrett? Hey, welcome in. But we have the opportunity now to, if this is the pane, then do this other thing. And if, we're in NeoVim, then we're going to navigate there. And if we're in tmux, we're going to navigate tmux, right? And so it's really just comes down to understanding how this works. Should forward navigate back to tmux. Tmux aware navigate direction. And so it becomes an at page end based off of the last pane, and if we're at the edge. So they're counting window numbers and making an assertion on, if not tmux pane last, then vim navigate. Navigate. So this is some sort of simple module. What does he have it all tied to, this S? And it could be one of those things that one day we could rewrite this in Lua and make it more composable and extendable for NeoVim if we wanted. But I don't want to take on that sort of thing today. I want to just see if I can get this to work. So buffer explain. In a tmux pane. And I want to add a new feature that basically we're going to allow me to check if NeoVim is open and close the current buffer. If so, if not, close the active tmux pane. Let's just see what we get out of this. So we know we'll be in tmux. I mean, it's really this simple, right? This is really all that we want to be doing. Right, so the tmux or teammate executable will be that. So we define a new function. So let's go ahead and put that somewhere up here. command, navigator process, should forward, navigate. Yeah, we'll just make a new code. And then we're going to say create the new command. So vim, tmux or in vim close. Where does that happen here? If empty tmux, does that mean it goes here? It does go here. We add our new function. With the same key binding, Garrett, that's right. So I'm going to bind it to Command W, go figure, right? That might sound familiar if you're a Mac user. So we have our close command. I'm adding it there. I might go a little bit smaller. And then here, add the new function to your existing code. So disable when zoom, blah, 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 blah. It's probably somewhere further down. Here we go. So, I mean, that's really all that we're trying to do, but we do maybe need to do some sanity checks, make sure this looks reasonable. And so instead of s.vim-navigate, for empty tmux add or in vim tmux or in vim close and close the current buffer if what? If I don't know if this is actually exists anywhere. I could just execute it. Yeah, it's Vim script, man. We were talking about it. I don't know if you were here, but I might play around with making a Lua compatible version of this because, like, it's not very much code. It's not really doing very much. It's very simple in its approach. So if we find it useful to spin up another version of this, I bet our AI tooling could do a pretty decent job of going, oh, great, you want to do this with Lua? Here you go. Here's how you would go about doing that. So I guess I want to implement we're going to implement this to close the current neovim buffer. So it's literally just that, right? Yeah, that makes sense. So we're going to kill, we're going to do some testing. We're going to kill tmux. We're going to attach. No, we're not going to attach. We're going to open up vim-tmux-navigator again. We're going to open up a navigator. We're going to open up our was term. Actually, I guess it's just Control Q. Let's get it working first. So if I have a pane and I hit Control Q, what should happen is the pane should be closed. Do I have it bound correctly? Oh, hold on. I do need to bind the tmux plugin because I know what I'm doing. Let's actually do it. So, oh my gosh, you're right, Garrett. I actually contributed to the README. There's more code in the README than there is in the actual explanation, the actual code base. Yeah, again, it's very simple what it's doing. It's not complicated. Add, hold on. I'll actually show you this. All right, so this is how this new plugin works. We're going to open up that. We're going to open up that. So now we have two buffers. So now I can actually put buffers in to my prompt, and it will use both files to tell me what I want to do. And so we're actually going to try this again. So we're going to generate, and we're going to generate add tmux binding for the new close command, which is bound to control Q. So we should be able to just say here, and what? Bind key K kill pane, and I'm try this again. For echoing this, great. And then I think we already have this set up, don't we? 24. No remap silent command Q. Call that. That's right. All right, so that's that. Kill pane. All right, so we'll kill again. We'll vim-tmux-navigator. We'll get this guy running. We will create a new pane and we'll hit Control Q. And it should close, but it's not. Okay. How about if we're in here and we hit Control Q? Tmux-navigate close is not a command. Is that not what we bound it to? Tmux-navigate close. Tmux, oh, I see. All right. We're not quite there yet. All right, so replace all. I could just do a quick substitution. We want to say tmux-navigate close. Right? Close, lazy, vim-tmux. Close. Well, that's good. So that's the first one. And then I need to figure out why, if I hit Control Q, the pane should be closing. So it's not. We know that this code is supposed to be firing. So if it has in Vim, we close the current buffer. If not, we execute kill pane like this, which is very similar to what happens up here. Navigate. Navigate aware. All right, so we need to call this. We need this to be called correctly. So Q and am focused on a pane. It could be that NeoVim technically is open, and so the logic here that decides if it has an NVim is not enough. We need to say if I'm in the NVim buffer, that's different, right? So my guess would be if I'm here and I hit Control Q, I would expect it to actually close, and it doesn't. So maybe that's what we need to verify first. So what do they say? Check if the function is called correctly. Did I not bind it correctly? Oh, you know what? It could be neovim config vim-tmux-navigator. Nope. This guy. That's what we have. Tmux-navigate close. That's what we called it, right? I feel like I'm doing this wrong. Close. So we're going to get the option close, and it's going to be Q. Close. If you have anything conflicting, we can look. It's a good question. Because just because here's Q, quit, kill current session is capital Q, lowercase q, display pane numbers. Ooh, how about that? Good call, man. No, that's prefix though, right? That's prefix, so that's not going to be the same thing. All right, so we can ask does Control Q do anything with tmux? Does not have a default action or binding, so no. So here's close, 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 do this thing, and we're going to kill pane. It could be this bind key vim, if is vim, bind key thing, if shall, do this thing, send keys, blah, blah, blah. I think this is right. I still feel like this should be able to run successfully. So we're getting close. I feel it in my bones. We're almost there. And there's some nice to haves for me, like if we're in the very last, buffer, then we might automatically close NeoVim instead of the last buffer, because there is no last buffer. But that will take a little bit more finesse. Okay, so NeoVim, navigate close with Control CQ. So that closes the buffer. Plugin. This is the code that we don't know for sure works. So in this case, there's a bit of magic in deciding what is going to go. So here it says P, tmux aware navigate, P, direction. We determine what's going to happen, and then we vim navigate if it's a navigating thing. And then on the, when these pieces are not caught, we select pane-t, shall escape the pane number. So let's try good old kill pane. Sure enough, kill pane kills pane. So what I want to do is args. Args are passed to tmux command. So let's do it the way that they did it. Args becomes kill pane, right? That's much better. So we'll kill tmux. We'll vim-tmux-navigator, open up a file, open up a pane, hit Control Q, and it didn't work. Hit Control Q here, and it closes the buffer. So it is closing the buffer. Now we need to find out, is this thing firing? So the best way to do that, to my knowledge, is tmux command for displaying message. I think it's just display message and then there's like a flag. No, you just literally could display message. Hello world, right? So if we never get to this and that's never called. All right, Garrett. Yeah, man. Thanks for hopping in. Hope everyone else is doing well. It looks like there's a dozen people or so here hanging out. Glad you're here. All right, so we're gonna do this again. So tmux-navigator. If I hit Control Q, doesn't work. If I hit Control Q, arguments invalid. Okay. Well, okay, we got somewhere. So it will run. Of course it will run. Oh, I wrote bad code. This is what I get for coding it zoomed in. I'm glad you guys can see. I'm glad everyone's here appreciating that they can read this, because it's a little tricky when you code live stream code with 40% font size. All right, display message hello world needs an ending quote. All right, cool. So what should happen is on this tmux file, it should have been bound to Control Q, bind key vim. This K, I don't know why it has to be done that way. tmux bind if shall send keys. If shall is vim send keys. Yeah, I get this. I know what it's doing. Sending according to this. Oh, interesting. Is this worth reading? Send keys key. tmux. Yeah. Oh, all right. I think I'm understanding what all this is saying. The question now is why would this binding not be bound? So we can kill tmux again. It would be because I'm dumb. All right. So anyone want to guess? Why would this tmux file not be changing for the tmux plugin? Any guesses? Give you guys a moment as the internet catches up with my stream. So funny enough, the source code that we've been modifying is in one place for Vim plugins and a totally different place for tmux plugins. So good guess, Greg. It's not that it's not being loaded or sourced. It's that it's totally different code. So there's two ways I could do this. I think for today, just to like have some sanity with this, is this present working directory, right? If we copy this, we can go back to config tmux plugins, remove the vim-tmux-navigator, and we can symbolically link the code that we've been writing today so that they're in the same place. Because I don't really want to write it twice, so that's my shortcut. And I believe it should be fine. tmux should be able to recognize that. So for the sake of development, this is a tmux plugin and a vim plugin, and those source files are put in two different places. Silly me, silly me. All right, so that means when we go back to tmux-navigator and we create a new pane and we hit Control Q, drum roll, it should close it. And we should be able to hit Control Q here, and it says hello world because we swapped this out. So let's kill this, reopen it. Let's go ahead and open up two files, open up a pane and a split. Control Q, Control Q, Control Q. That's it. That's the feature. All right. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I will see you guys next week. I'm just kidding. No, we're not done, but that's the feature. That's how it works. And WesTerm. So on my WesTerm config, I basically want to send, when I hit Control W, so we're going to swap this guy out, basically. We are going to send Control W when we type Command W. We send Control Q, right? We all on the same page now. So Keycaster, you want to see what I'm doing? People love good old Keycaster. All right, where does it show up? Here it is. So you see this guy right here. We'll put it right next to me. Install update, remind me later. All right, we'll do that later. All right, so now it should just work. Oh, hey, and our background's going to change. What do we think? We like these backgrounds? I kind of like this one. All right. Yes, so we have the last buffer problem. And I need to figure out if we would just write code that say no name means there's nothing left. I think for now I'm going to call it a bug, not a feature. But let's continue our work to see if we can feature add. Actually, let's do this. Let's do close command. Add feature to close vim buffer or tmux pane. That's it. So we'll do a good old, we'll probably update the docs fully. We'll give this a push. Oh, is this going to complain about my remote? It is. Yeah, no good. So we will go back to my project, rip this guy, and then get remote, move origin, get remote, add. We're gonna call this origin. All right, so that should push kill pane, close buffer. So I want to improve this vim script to check if the buffer is empty and quit vim if it is active on an empty buffer. Let's see how far we can go. Close current buffer in NeoVim. Yeah, close in Vim. So we'll figure out if that's what it's expecting. So we close this, we close again, and it's not right. All right, so that wasn't it. This is where I would like Lua and NeoVim's APIs. Greg, you like my RMRF span? Yeah, man. This ain't my first rodeo. To be fair, that was code managed by a plugin, so so we can always just reinstall it with the plugin manager, right? All right, so this wasn't quite it. Let's see, where are we at with this? So buffer explain. How would I hold on? How to check the buffer type in NeoVim. There's file type, right? So like this, well, what happened? Why did it not copy? Copy. The copy button's fine until it gives me something I don't actually want. Yeah, I usually do this. I've done this before. All right, so let's try again. File type, if file type is empty, right? No named. Detected. Yeah, no, I know. All right, so we're going to say if file type is empty, maybe. If file type is nothing. File type empty, and let me start with this. see if that's enough. Because if it is, then I might just kind of ship this thing or do it my way for now. And I'm curious if Chris is going to like this, because I'm going to just submit it and go, hey man, I did it and it works pretty well. And we'll see if anyone else wants to mess with it. All right, so it's already so helpful. Oh my gosh. Command W. Okay, so we're going to quit NeoVim. We're going to reopen. We're going to close. We're going to close again. Hey, and it worked. How about that? So we're going to say add close vim if empty buffer. Yeah, Andres, and as someone with a YouTube channel and a community of people now around me in this space, I do have some forks that I now have other people use that it's a fork. So there's always that opportunity as well. I think if we were to move to converting all this to Lua and doing the NeoVim stuff, then it would be a stronger incentive for people to use, right? Because we can build other features. LFC, let's go. Look at LFC. Shout out to tmux. People will suggest we use Zelige, but tmux is best. Yeah, so I'm a little biased as a tmux plugin author, so I agree. But I think Zelige is pretty great. I think for a lot of beginners, like let's say that somebody who doesn't know what session management is in the terminal space, would I recommend tmux? Most of the time, yes. But if you were just to say like the ease and simplicity, because hey, don't freak out, but your boy's got Zelige installed. The ability to see these bindings, you say, okay, if I hit Control P, in for new, Control P, move is the arrow keys, C is rename. I can name my panes this way. And so like the abilities, even sessions, session, configure, and you can do your bindings and you can change stuff around. Like, so I like Zelige. I think it's very cool what they're doing. But my plugins aren't there. And I haven't yet found an opportunity to port them over. Sesh, you might know me for Sesh. That's kind of my most popular project at this point. And I have, oh man, this feels good. I'm actually using Command W and it feels really nice. So if I close that, and if I close this, vim-tmux-navigator should go away. Yes. However, I'm fine with hitting it twice, because what I often do is I'll work and I maybe background, and wallpaper, and I may say I'm going to toggle through these, and I go, oop, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that. And then I go, oh, I'm done. I've done all of the things. There's no more files. It might be interesting to automatically open my file picker when I end up in an empty buffer. Could be interesting, although it's just Command P, right? So I'm one binding away from doing that kind of context switching. So I feel like this close at the end when there's nothing left is probably something people might want configured. Let's go ahead and lazy into, what is it? tmux-navigator, readme. So this needs tmux navigate close. Is that right? Yeah. So close. And then I guess my NeoVim config should be enough, right? vim-tmux-navigator. Keys, vim-tmux-navigator. tmux, adding a snippet to your conf. Interesting. So what we're telling people is if they want to install this on their own, let's go back here, that you would manually, interesting, you would fill out this yourself. So we would be swapping this guy out for this kill pane. Kill pane would be here. So we'd say Q if shell is vim, send keys Q, otherwise kill pane. And this doesn't really matter, not that I remember. TPM set -g, and then this is this guy. Custom key bindings. I mean, there's a lot to say here. Disabled while zoom. Look at this. Garrett's gone, but we can joke. Look how long this is. There's more here than what we're actually dealing with. All right. So, navigate. I kind of want to know the close command. Where do we put a description of it? TPM, configuration. Does it describe here plugin packaging when combined, navigate seamlessly, or dynamically? Let's see. What would I say? Requires note, renew, closes a vim buffer or a tmux pane, depending on if you're on your focus on. Something like that. Docs, update documentation, update documentation. Cool. a vim buffer. Helpful is wonder if who said they were working on this? Ritesh. Are you still here, Ritesh? We got it working, man. We got it working. I'm excited. Curious if you're still here, because I know you said you had taken a stab at this and hadn't gotten it working, and happy to give you guys instructions. You basically could just download my fork, right? And I may want to rethink about this or take a deep look at the README and make sure I fully understand it. Oh. Let's see what he says. It's been contributed. It's 30 lines of code. We've been here about an hour. Excuse me, about an hour, and it's 30 lines of code. It's like, that's so crazy, including the documentation, right? And documentation was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the 30 lines, a third of it is almost documentation. So I'm excited to use this. I'll probably stick to my fork. I may rewrite this in Lua at some point if I think it's worth the trouble. But I'd really have to think, in an hour, I now pretty much fully understand the code, contributed a new feature. And my ideas around this are like what other consistent macOS type bindings would I want to repeat for doing it with Vim or doing it with tmux, right? Have a consistent binding between those two. The only thing that really stands out to me is the idea of splits, where I could push a button, a single Darwin-style command, action to split the panes. And then that's really it. That's one reason why this is so simple. So yeah, this is super fun. This is what I wanted to do today. I've done it. It's been accomplished. Thanks for coming around and hanging out. I'll give my spiel like I usually do. We spend a lot of time on Discord. So if you go to joshmedeski.com, you can find me through all the socials. On my website, you'll see a little Discord button at the top of my website. If you click on that, you can get put into our server. We've been talking a lot about tmux and NeoVim lately, but we talk about all sorts of other stuff as programmers. Most of us are computer programmers by day, and we're in the tooling world here. We do use all these tools, and we like to discuss it. So if you want to hang out there, come join us and join the conversation. I will have some YouTube videos coming out this year, so be on the lookout for that. I'm excited. And yeah, Sesh will definitely have some new features this year. And I have been spinning up my own NeoVim config, so there'll be some more material around how I organize things personally and how I get around and how I stay productive using these tools. So thanks again for everyone who joined. Looks like a few people joined just now. Happy to see you. Hope that you can join me again next week in the next live stream. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.